Are we heading for a two-tier society? What I'm now going to call the jabbed and the jab-nots. Well, let's have a listen to New Zealand Premier Jacinda Ardern, who said this earlier on today.
So you basically said this is going to be like, well, it's almost like, you probably don't see it like this, the two different classes of people. If you're vaccinated or if you're unvaccinated, you have all these rights. If you are vaccinated...
That is what it is, so yep. People who have been vaccinated will want to know that they're around other vaccinated people. They want to know that they're in a safe environment. It is a way that we can give confidence to those who are going back into hospitality or events. And so that is something that I think we should offer to people who have been vaccinated, that confidence that we're doing everything we can to keep them safe and that they can come back out and start enjoying those things safely.
Well, isn't that extraordinary? There she is, the New Zealand Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, confirming in response to a journalist's question that, yes, there will be two different classes of people in New Zealand society, the jabbed and the jab-nots. And what I thought was even more sinister was that she said that people who had been jabbed wouldn't want to mix and spend time with those that hadn't been jabbed. It's almost as if the unjabbed in New Zealand will become the modern-day lepers, but it doesn't stop, of course, with New Zealand. In Austria, the new Prime Minister is seriously considering locking down the unjabbed if case numbers get worse. So if you're jabbed, you can go about your business and go to work. If you're unjabbed, you will have to stay at home. And if you're caught leaving your home, you will be fined. Now, of course, in Scotland, they've gone some way towards this already with the introduction of a vaccine passport scheme. And last weekend was the first time it was fully used for the nighttime industry, and it's been described as an unmitigated disaster, with footfall down 40% to nighttime venues and lots of aggro on the doors. And overnight we hear the Labour Party now coming out unequivocally, John Ashworth saying that we must back Plan B. And of course, Plan B includes vaccine passports. Well, very much on the same theme, the Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, now says he is leaning towards compulsory NHS jabs. So if you haven't had a jab, you don't have a job. Already, this has been put in place for the care industry. Now, I'm not talking just about the NHS in isolation. I'm talking about a much bigger and broader point. Yes, I know that Boris Johnson repeatedly has rejected vaccine passports, but then, of course, if we go back over the last couple of years, many things that he said he wouldn't do because he was essentially a libertarian, in the end, he did do. And I do think that when it comes to people's jobs, when it comes to people's social lives, when it comes to lockdowns, if there are any again in the future, that right across the Western world, we are moving towards this two-tier society, the jabbed and the jab-nots. I have to say, myself, I'm not, worried myself about the vaccine. I felt that at my age, with my medical background, it made perfect sense to have the jab. So I'm not arguing it from a perspective that I don't think people should have the jab. What I am saying is we're going much too far. The power of the state insisting that you have this vaccine, and if you don't, you're about to become a second-class citizen. I have to say, I find the whole thing completely and utterly loathsome. I really do.